Hey everybody, it's Michael Padone with SalesBuzz.com, and today we're going to talk about how to send a LinkedIn invite that gets accepted, not rejected. So we're going to call this LinkedIn prospecting, right? Because there are a lot of outbound sales reps who are using LinkedIn to try to go ahead and get the conversation going, right? So here's the problem. I'm constantly getting bombarded with LinkedIn requests from salespeople who are, how do I say this? They're really clueless on how to properly grab my attention, and which means they're also having a hard time grabbing their other prospects' attention, right? And this is a common problem as more and more sales reps try and use LinkedIn for prospecting. In essence, they're making the same mistakes socially, through social media, through LinkedIn, things of that nature. They're making the same mistakes that they were on the phone. So they left the phone because they weren't getting the results they want, so now they're trying to use some of the other tools that are out there, which are fabulous tools, but the problem is they're making the same mistakes, and that's why their results are low. So let's go over just a few LinkedIn prospecting best practices so you can get better results. And the first one is this: you have to know your ICP, your ideal customer profile. So for starters, make sure the person you're reaching out to meets your pre-qualified to be a suspect checklist. That's what I call it, right? You gotta see if they're pre-qualified to at least be a suspect. So if they match that certain criteria, okay, we're in business. So something as simple as being in an industry that you help and having at least the title of someone who would normally be at least part of the decision-making conversation, right? Don't assume they're a decision maker based on their title. That's a whole nother video that we'll do later. But they should at least have a title that matches people in the past deals that you've closed that were at least part of the conversation. That's always at least a good place to start. So how many LinkedIn invitations have you received, you personally, and yet the message that was coming through, you had zero use for the services or product that person was pushing, right? Don't make the same mistake. Make sure if you're going to reach out to somebody through LinkedIn, make sure they at least pre-qualify to be a suspect on your ICP list. Next, make sure you know your what's in it for them messages. You'll probably have a couple of them, right? But you really want to know what the what's in it for them message is that hits a pain point. You want to agitate a pain, scratch an itch. That's how you get a reaction. So if you don't know what your pain points are for your prospects, or what pain points your prospects would have to have in order for them to ever be interested in your solutions, right? Because you're selling solutions, right? Therefore, they have to have a problem if they want to buy your solution. So make sure you know what those pain points are and that your solution solves. If you don't know that yet, step away from the cue board and do not come back until you can clearly articulate that message. Next, let's talk about your scripts. Yes, it's actually a script, your LinkedIn prospecting scripts. And you're going to be sending them a message. Guess what? It's going to be called a script. So here's the thing. You want to avoid the bore me to tears script, right? We've all gotten it. It's similar to this. It says, hi, and it says your name, and it says, we have several common connections, and I'd like to connect with you on LinkedIn. Okay, just because we have several common connections, look, I got over 10,000 connections, right? Okay, why do I want to connect with you just because we have a few in common? Doesn't do anything for me. Usually just I exit it out and that's that, right? I say no. Or worse, they're going to send you a LinkedIn invite that includes a written presentation on what they do. So I changed it to not embarrass anybody, but here's an example of one that I received. It says, hi Michael, I wanted to quickly introduce myself with our XYZ services. Our US-based team of XYZers will prepare your ABC solution, then your team will, and then just go on blah, blah, blah. The best part is it's only $197. We'd love to connect with you and tell you more. Not doing it, right? Too much. So, how to send a LinkedIn invite that gets accepted, not rejected. Now that we know what not to do and some things you need to do ahead of time, here's the deal. If you're going to send a LinkedIn invite to a potential prospect in order to eventually draw them into a dialogue, right? Because that's what we want to do. We want to draw them into a dialogue to determine if a win-win opportunity exists. That's the whole reason to reach out to them, is to be able to set that up to where we connect and then we get to have a conversation, right? Okay, you're going to need to pique their curiosity. And if you want to get them engaged, right, you got to pique their curiosity. And the best way to do that is to speak their language that drives the point home in as few words as fast as possible. Here's one of the LinkedIn sales scripts that I use for connecting with somebody. Ready? And it gets me a great response. Like I rarely get rejected. It's way over 80% rejection with this. Or it's way over 80% acceptance, I should say, okay? So I just say, hi name, I put their name, and I go, I help sales directors reach projected forecasts. Now, let me just stop right there. I said I help sales directors if I'm sending it to a sales director. If I'm saying somebody else, I'm going to change that up as well, right? So I'll critique that and customize it to the person I'm reaching out to. So again, I help sales directors reach projected forecasts. I've already worked with other teams in the SaaS space. Again, hit the pause button here. If they're in the SaaS space and I've helped somebody, I'm going to mention that. If they're in the computer software field, I'm going to mention that. If they're in the transportation or trucking or information technology, IT, I'm going to mention that. Got it? Okay. So again, I've already worked with other teams in the SaaS space who are using my playbook to grow new revenue. I'd like to add you to my network on LinkedIn in case I may be of some assistance to you in the future. Now, here's the anatomy of this winning LinkedIn sales script, right? So here's the thing. Notice I lead off my LinkedIn invite by mentioning how I have helped others that are just like them, right? So I bring in their title to it. You want to avoid using catch-all phrases like, we help people like you, right? You don't want to say that because they're going to wonder if you say that to everybody. So instead, use their actual title to make it more relevant to them, okay? Using catchphrases puts your prospects on the defense. They're going to start to wonder if you say that to everybody, or do you really help everybody like me, or do you help, or you just say that to everybody? And now, if they're wondering that, the guard comes up, not go down. Got it? Okay. So once I grab attention, I want to pique interest. Mentioning that others in his or her his or her field are already succeeding from my playbook naturally increases the desire to want to know about the playbook, right? Now here's the close of a LinkedIn invite script. Finally, you want to close it out. So here's how. Be non-threatening. You want to create a low-risk, high-reward situation for the prospect. Stating, I'd like to add you to my LinkedIn network in case I may be of some help to you in the future, offers a safe invitation to get them to know you while allowing the prospect to feel like they're in control of making that decision. And like I said, it's a low risk, high reward opportunity for them. So following a simple process like this, a process that you would appreciate if the shoe were on the other foot, is going to help you start getting a lot more accepted LinkedIn connection requests and a lot less rejection requests or invitations that are going to be rejected. Cool? I think you know what I'm trying to say here. All right, guys. Hope that helps. We'll see you next time. Take care.